Now let's go for the mullions. Just like I said, mullions need what? That's right, a profile. They need a profile. For example, when I select a mullion, if I want to make any changes in it, I can change the profile, right? But my purpose is to build a new mullion with a new profile. For example, I have a picture here. This is a mullion. You can see the profile too. Now we want to build a bit simpler one. We don't model these anymore. Well, obviously, for being able to have such mullion, we need to build the profile too. Let's go and find out. In order to be able to have such mullion, you need to go to architecture headline and select mullion, and then you can use one of the simple mullions. You can duplicate it. For example, the name would have to be Mullion. I. For example, Mullion I. Pay attention to the name, Mullion I, and I click OK. Well, now we should select a profile. It should be like that. So I go to the profile and then select the right profile. Do we have it? No. So what should we do? We need to go and build the profile. Now let's keep this mullion, and then we can go and build a profile for it, and then we'll come back. So we obviously know that the process is to make the profile first. I just wanted to show you now. So at first we make the profile, not this. So profile, new, family. Well, definitely we don't go to annotations. Well, it's true, it's 2D, but it's profile. These are profiles. You see, metric profiles. Things you want to make. Metric profile mullion. I open it. Now let's design the profile. Let me tell you one thing. The texts that are black are not deleted, and they don't need to be deleted, and it's not written even to delete these. Based on usual, I go to create, I pick line, and I draw the profile about 5 centimeters. This one is about 1.5. 1.5. And this is 12. This one I can just mirror it easily. Be smart in these situations. Now I select this and then move it exactly in the middle of these two reference planes. So I move it here, and again I will move it here. You see, this part is exactly in the middle. You might wonder why not this part is in the middle. Well, this is the spot. The line here, right, is where the glass actually goes. So this is where it must be placed because of the glass. So anytime that the glass goes, should be placed on this line. Now, can you tell me what the name should be? I want to save it. That's right. This is profile I. Right? That was called Mullion I. This is called profile I. I'll load it into the project. Now, where should I go? I should go for that mullion. This is still waiting for the profile to be given to it. So mullion I. We didn't have any. We go to profile and then open this and then select profile I. Now we can add it to our curtain wall. I select it, I go to edit type. For example, it should be one of the interiors. Interior Mullion eye. Horizontal Mullion eye, like that, you see? And then OK. This is it. Let's go to the plan. Let's change it to shaded so that I can show you something. Well, just like you see, the glass is not placed in the right spot. Now, in order to do that, we need to tap and then select the panel. Panel in the edit type has two parameters. Well, the first one is offset, which is the offset of the panel from the center line of the curtain wall, which is now 37 millimeters. The offset is 37 millimeters. Here you can see it, the center line of the curtain wall. So edit type, I change it to 0. And I apply it. What happens? Goes into the center line. Next one is thickness. Mine was 15 millimeters. Now, if you wanted it to be 2 centimeters, you needed to create that space, leave that space. So what I left was 15. I applied and OK. Check this out. Look at it from this side too. The borders, of course, are separately done. You see there are no gaps to two sides. And you can also make the borders flat, right? You can go to edit type, join condition, you can change it to border and vertical, just like this. All right. Well, I hope you've understood this perfectly well. Let's go and draw another example together. And then I will ask you a question to test yourself. If you remember actually the levels, the steps, you can easily answer that question. And if you couldn't do that, you would be able to watch this again so that you can take this test well enough. Well, now I want to make a new Mullion with a new profile. Well, obviously I've learned not to go and duplicate the Mullion first. I need to design the profile first to have it, and then I can design a Mullion with it. So at first, let's design the Mullion. We go up to this part. Remember to check the steps of the work to answer my question. So, new family. We choose the Mullion. For example, what I've got in mind now is to, for example, have a Mullion with 8 sides. Right? So, I draw it. Let's make it a bit bigger, 8 centimeters. And I don't need to move this because I said that this is the place where there is the gap of the glass. For example, I wanted it to be 2 centimeters to be inside, and for example, the thickness of the glass would have to be 20. 10 offset here and 10 on the other side. I split. Now, for example, I don't want this to be 20. I want it to be 15. I regret it, right? It's too big. Let me move it down and 2.5 up. So it's 15 now, let's remember. Let me delete this one and mirror it just like that. So great. Now I save it as, for example, profile 8N. Now I load it into project, and because I have another family open, there's a list. It tells me where I want to load it, and I say, for example, in project 3. What was its name? Profile N8, 8N. Yeah. Now let's replace it with these mullions. I select the curtain walls. Then I go to edit type in mullions, and I open this one and I look for 8N. This was my question, my test, right? Why actually is not that profile I just made here? What's the answer? Very nice. That was a profile, not mullion. This is the list of mullions. We left that actually. We left this step. We left a level, right? The step was not making mullions with that profile. Hats off to those of you who could answer correctly. So we go to properties, and then I said we can actually duplicate one of the basic mullions, and we change the name to Mullion 8. That was the profile, right? This is the mullion. Well, now we can see that in the list of actually profile. Now the process is finished. Mullion is created. We go for curtain wall. Now we can find it in the list of the mullions, just like that. Which is this. All right, let's see it in plan. Because we've already checked the offset and all that, there's not going to be any problems. But the final step, I want to show you the errors of profile. Let me tell you a couple of points. Let's go, for example, make another profile and then check some errors on that. So new family, obviously metric profile mullion, and for example I want to I want a mullion with fillet corners. So at first I draw a triangle, a rectangle. Let me move it and put it exactly in the middle. You see, sometimes it happens that moving becomes under 3 millimeters. So in these situations, just put the distance a bit more, actually make it far from the center and then move it back. This might happen sometimes. So I pick line. Now I make the corners fillet. With this size, for example, 2. So at first, let's make it fixed. Just like that. Much easier to do. But the errors that can come up in designing profile. So at first we go to File, New Family. And obviously we go for Metric Profile Mullion. Well, now the errors you might face while designing profile are the same as the things we said about fillet before. For example, you draw a profile like this. What's the error? That's right. It's open. It's not closed. But let's just imagine it's loaded here too. Now, here it shows you the error. Right now, it doesn't show you any errors. Let me show you. This is open now. When I load it into project, then I go for Mullion, duplicate. Let's change the Mullion name to error. You see, right now, again, we don't see any errors. When the profile is given, this appears. It says it's either overlapped or looped, and all blah blah blah. Well, so one of the errors is when the profile is open. What else? The other one is when these two are overlapped. When you're not careful, this might happen. Again, it will show us an error. Again, error. But one of the errors that you might not think of, and you might even get upset with Revit, that why this possibility is not there for us, is to have actually shapes into each other, right? When you draw these shapes, for example, the offset would be 6. Well, you might say it's logical, right? Well, for example, I might have such design and it might be accepted. And I tell you, you're right, but it's not accepted. Now I delete that extra. Everything is okay. How many lines are there? 8. But yet, it's not accepted. See? Now let's read this. It says the selected Mullion profile neither contains, right, more than one profile loop or an open profile loop and cannot be used. Valid profiles can only have a single continuous closed profile loop. It's basically logically explained, which is not logical for us, right? So be careful not to go through these things. If you see this message, go back, right, to that source of the profile and check the things I said. Number 1, closed shapes, right? Now I told you 2 examples. One of them is the same picture I showed you, and the other one was the shape with 8 sides. Please build these, design these, and not just the profile Mullion 2. Use it in curtain wall 2. Actually focus about the offset, thickness, and all that. Don't just go through it.